They don't teach you this in lawyer school?
Apparently not.
No? What?
Oh, the wind doth be blowing.
What in tarnation?
So, that means, just what exactly does that mean?
Means I eat too many beans during trial time. Exactly, Mr. Wright, exactly.
Oh, that's a mighty fine wind.
It means it can't be
There
done.
ain't nothing fine about it.
Oh god. I can't. Pain.
What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker.
Don't look at me. I didn't put it there.
Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically. I just teleported over here.
Emma.
On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker.
So it happened before he put it in there. So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the Blue Badger was brought in?
Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom.
It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation.
Judge, a parrot has been cross-examined in your courtroom. You are beyond saving.
On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, tap, blood was spilled not once, but twice.
But how?
One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell or was donated. The problem is, the other time. As we slowly scan back and forth, this is the absolutely worst freaking part. Someone bled prior to the struggle shown on this tape. It had to have been Tap. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. Oh.
Oh, the music.
That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim.
Objection! The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, point! That does not explain the blood mark found on this locker.
Objection. Tap. So then, assuming this murder you purport really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred.
When did the first incident occur?
To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room.
That's right. The blood mark on the locker proves this.
Very well. Then tell us, when did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edgeworth said, proof must be presented.
Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that. Which is?
Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place? I think it's the log entry.
Yeah, the log entry. I'd agree with that one card.
It's the only thing I could think of that's legit.
Take that!
And it's none other than Gant's ID number.
Oh. If the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it. Oh. And in order to do so, an ID card would have been required.
An ID card. Oh, the ID card record.
Who's that?
Who's 777?
Oh no, but also Edgeworth. Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at...
Let's see here. 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40... Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done?
No, it's not him. It's 7777777.
I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy.
Okay, somebody stole Miles' card.
Drop the act, witness.
No, we know he went in there, but it had to be 7777777 first.
It doesn't take a lot to have figured it out that it couldn't have been me.
Also, there's a whole other number there that ain't identified.
Nope, I ain't getting it.
I'm afraid I don't understand either.
It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood.
I mean priorities?
That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer.
That's a lot of blood.
Miriam.
Like, that's not being wiped or Kleenexed away. You need a freaking mop.
She needs it, is right. I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible. Well, fortunately.
Oh, look, a 20-minute gap at 4:20.
Blaze it.
That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edgeworth entered the evidence room. Oh my god.
Let's look at the chart again.
Oh my god.
There's only one other card number remaining, 777-777-7.
Talk about a lucky number.
But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room?
Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. Tap! That's the only plausible explanation. Point! He went in with 777-777-7.
Remember a long time ago I said that it was Gan who opened the locker?
Yeah.
Well, I was right.
In a
because
way.
he was with Goodman.
Exactly, that's true.
Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP. Find out whose ID number is 7777-77777.
That's 17 too many, Your Honor.
I was just gonna say that.
Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card.
Oh?
At least at present.
Oh? What?
Get clearance.
Explain yourself, son. The ID number 777-7777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher.
Oh ho ho, and a Merry Christmas.
Someone who is a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity.
That is very
Gee,
stupid and
I
dumb.
wonder who that could be.
Objection, Tap! But that's ridiculous. Just how?
I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority.
A warrant!
Suspected murder? If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted.
An official charge?
You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries and your evidence. That's how the prosecutor's office operates. Objection. I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself. Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question. Yes? Is it slander if it's true? Oh, no, not you. To her. The defendant sitting over there. Your own little executive.
Mama?
Objection. Tap. Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we looked up her ID number, and it's not 7777777. Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I wanted to ask. All I wanted to know is one thing about that incident.
The SL9 incident.
Yeehaw, Judge. Now answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence?
Oh, we getting a flashback? What's happening here?
Do you need the witness to repeat the question?
I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth.
2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time,
Occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law. At least, I did.
Huh?
Mana. I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law. Defendant, just what are you saying?
I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor. During that trial 2 years ago, did you really present all the evidence in court? Can you look me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did?
Chief Prosecutor, you didn't. I don't have to, Officer Marshall.
Good. Why won't you answer him? And don't you dare invoke this Fifth Amendment nonsense.
Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is.
The corruption!
We did what we had to in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. But, Mana, even if it involved forging evidence.
The suspense. Goodness.
See? That's what I'm talking about. No. No.
Order! 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 Order!
Lana's remarks caused such a stir that the chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. Conclusion of the trial would have to wait until the following day.
Dun-dun.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said.
She pulled an Edgeworth, basically.
I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings.
Sounds like everybody's heard about these killings, but me?
They don't teach you this in lawyer school?
Apparently not.
Now?
Lana wanted Dark convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me.
Oh? What do you mean, what happened to you?
It's all there in the file.
I really haven't been able to read it. I was given it during court recess, okay?
Well, you have time now, but Joe Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall.
Allegedly.
When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother,
Allegedly.
he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence.
But what did you have to do with those killings, Emma?
On the night Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me.
Damn. What? He tried to kill you?
Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me.
Damn.
Damn, it's right.
So that means you...
Yes, I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial.
I didn't see that one coming. And neither did I. Okay, let's talk about this.
Yeah, let's unpack all the trauma. It happened 2 years ago. It was right about this time of the year, too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. Then suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office.
Joe Dark.
It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up.
Jake Marshall's brother, Neil.
Joe Dark tried to take me hostage. But before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. Then,
What happened next?
I'll never forget it. Lightning struck, and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can still see it now.
Are you gonna, like, acquit the Joe Dark they killed somehow? That's the vibe I'm getting.
I don't know.
A permanent picture? Oh, we'll talk about that in a moment.
I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall.
So you weren't able to testify about that?
No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. That must be why she made up the crime.
Made it up? You mean provided bogus evidence?
The prosecutor's office wanted that guilty verdict so badly.
Tell me about it.
Lana forged the evidence, and Mr. Edgeworth used it.
Edgeworth? Oh, God.
Yes, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it.
You know, I could believe that. I could believe that.
He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth, I mean. It's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened.
So it's true, even though he may not have known it. Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence.
After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold, like she is today.
She must not have been able to face up to what she did. Especially not to Emma.
All right, let's talk about this permanent picture.
What did you see in the instant that the crime occurred?
Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife.
That does not look like Neil Marshall, like in the face in this picture at all, does it?
Yeah, that looks way too old.
Like, he's wearing the outfit, right? But, like, his face is very wrong.
And Joe Dark has, like, onion hair.
does have
What is
onion
happening here?
That's really weird.
Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl.
I don't remember what happened after that. Apparently, I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. We had a bonding moment.
That's a nice jacket.
Poor Emma. You've been through so much. Damn.
I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant.
Oh.
I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good.
2 years ago. You must have been 14. That's understandable. Most people aren't good artists at 14. It takes a while. 16 now, though, you should be epic. That's all I'm gonna say. No.
Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies
I see.
and find the evidence to make an airtight case.
Where's that airtight case right now? I kinda need it, not gonna lie.
I'm trying.
It's not happened yet. Go one day.
You just gotta be patient. That way, Lana would never have to forge any.
I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime.
We hope you enjoyed watching this episode of the Arcade Cabinet.
Join us. We're live 9 p.m. Eastern, Twitch, and YouTube.
If you like what you've seen so far, consider giving us a like and subscribe for more content and chaos.
See you next time.
And Meowth, that's right!
No.